Welcome to Man on a Mission, your vehicle to business and wealth success. Now, here's your host and founder of Man on a Mission, MiltonCraft.
Hey everybody, this is Milton. Thanks so much for joining me here today at Man on a Mission, where we talk about having a positive mindset, wealth management, men's health, podcast, and just plain old everyday life. Hey, so today I want to share my thoughts on something that I think we all are pretty familiar with, and sometimes we get caught up in it, and that is making excuses. We've all done it. Some of us still do it, but it's something I think we need to discuss because some people are letting it dictate how their life flows and how things come about their way. So join me today on Man on a Mission as I talk about making excuses. All right. So let's talk about excuses. Excuses. We hear it all the time. People make excuses for this, that, and the other thing. Excuses. Now, excuses are very powerful. We all know that. Now, however, if you're a strong person, you realize they're not stronger than any dream that you have. The key to that is to find the inner strength to help you stay calm in the presence of obstacles so that you can achieve your success. So we have to begin this conversation today talking about what is an excuse. We have to define what that is so people can have some clarity on what an excuse is. Now, an excuse is just something that you basically give power over you. Something, in reality, an excuse can lead to failure because we let it take over and have dominance over who we are. We let that excuse dictate what we do and how we do things. Now, the dictionary defines an excuse as when an individual makes an attempt to put the blame on another person or another circumstance rather than being accountable for their own actions. So basically what it's saying is an excuse is something that we shift the blame on because of something we have an inability to do or desire to do, or something that we need to do but we just don't want to do it. So we make up this thing called an excuse. And some of the data, according to a report by the New York Post, a poll of 2,000 Americans conducted by one poll found that the average person makes an excuse 6 times a day. 6 times a day. And you know how many times that is for somebody to make up a reason for not to do something? 6 times a day. Now, that's a lot of excuses. You know, can we say that excuses are for people who are not willing to go for what they want, or they don't know how to truly be themselves? You can say either one because it's a barrier somewhere that's stopping people from truly doing what it is they have a desire to do. So what are some of the most common excuses that we often hear people say when they're trying to do something or they refuse to do something? And the first one is what? I'm too young, or I'm too old. And one of the biggest ones that we hear people say, well, I don't have enough money to do it. Really? And then another one, I don't have time, or it's just too hard, or I'm just not smart enough. These are all just basic excuses. Just remember the number of times that you've done this, and when you were faced before something that you wasn't really prepared to do, you came up with an excuse and said, wow, I just can't do it because I don't have time, I don't have enough money. It really was because of what? What causes people to say excuses? So the next thing is, why do we make excuses? I mean, what is the thing that causes us to use excuses? And the number one reason a lot of people say is fear. People are afraid of the unknown. They're afraid of doing something that they've never done before. So they have to come up with something that helps them to make an excuse for not doing it. So it's fear. And this thing is self-doubt. You doubt yourself. You know you're confident. You know you have all the skills and all the knowledge to do something. But you make an excuse not to do it because you doubt yourself. And some people use it just as an easy way out. Just because you don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, so I'm going to make an excuse not to do it. It's just an easy way out. But the one that really sticks with me is people have no accountability. You know you need to do something. You know there's something out there that you need to achieve and you need to get it done, but you come up with an excuse. You don't want to hold yourself accountable for taking the steps and the actions to get something done because you're fearful. You're doubtful. You want to take an easy way out because you're afraid of what may happen, but you never know what's going to happen if you don't make that step. So the easy way for some people is, let's just make an excuse so I don't have to do anything. So now we have to answer the big question. The thing that's right before us when it comes to excuses. How do we stop making excuses. How do we stop making excuses for doing the things that we need to do? I'm going to give you a couple things I think we can do in order to stop making excuses. The first one is to face your fears and failures. You got to face whatever's before you. Don't be intimidated. Don't be frightened. Don't be doubtful. You just have to face it. And whatever the outcome is, it's the outcome. It's just the first attempt. You can always do it again. So just make that step. Face that fear. Face that failure that you've had before. And just keep going and going and going. And eventually you will achieve it. The second thing is, don't compare yourself to others. A lot of people like to say, well, Johnny did it, Susie did it, I'm just not as good as them. How do you know? If you never try, you don't know. So you can't compare yourself to others because that's your first stumbling block. You've already gone into the race, already lost because you feel like if you don't live up to someone else's expectations that you're not good enough. Stop doing that. That's an excuse that we need to get rid of. And the third thing is, stop overthinking everything. Stop overthinking it. Stop having the results before you even make the steps. You've got the answers, you've got the solution already figured out, and you haven't even taken the first step to get it done. So that's an excuse that we need to get rid of. And the last one is, get rid of your past habits and routines. You're so used to doing something a certain way. You're so used to getting to a certain point. And you know when you get to that point, this is it. This is as far as I'm going to go. Get out of that past habit, that past routine, so that you can go on and get rid of these excuses and achieve the goals and success that you want. Think about it. A lot of people don't achieve the success that they desire because of what? Because they make excuses for not being able to do something. And when you make an excuse, just be honest with yourself. The only person that you're hurting is yourself. You're not hurting anyone else because you're the one who's not walking out and fulfilling the dreams and goals that you have. So stop making these excuses that hinder you from becoming the person or the success story that you want to be. So excuses can be used as a barrier for anything that we want to do. But we have to overcome our fears, our self-doubt, and everything that's in our way. We have to be accountable for all of the things that we want to achieve. No one else can do that for us. So hey, make that step. Put those excuses in the back window and start doing what you need to do for yourself. And I think you'll be much happier and you will enjoy the success that you will achieve from just simply being yourself. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode of Man on a Mission, please take the time to share with friends and colleagues. Don't make an excuse not to do it. This will help the show to continue to grow and allow me to continue making content that is helpful for everyone and something that is positive to help us to get through each and every day. Now make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Anchor, iTunes, or Spotify. So hopefully I'll see you back next week for another great episode here at Man on a Mission. Take care.